Yo, 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 ladies and gentlemen, this is one of the best channels on YouTube, in my opinion. And, I tell you all the time, I will be bringing you channels. I think I'm trying to get the information to people that I know a lot of people go to work and they work hard and come home and they sit down, they take a shower and have a bite to eat and watch a little TV, and then they get up and go do it again. And maybe they don't get the information that because we know the news is fake. So I think, in my opinion, you have to go to the internet, and one of the a great place to go is YouTube. You can actually go to YouTube and type in a subject matter, and man, all kind of videos will pop up: good, bad, the ugly, and everything else. But this is one of the channels that I go to see what's really going on, and this is Brandon Lehman. And today he is talking about Jake Tapper from CNN, who is, his career, I think, is just about over. Evidently, Jake wrote a book, and in the book he was talking about how he knew that Joe Biden was in mental decline. And he, as a news broadcaster, didn't say anything about it. But anyway, check this out.
Oh man, Jake Tapper is getting ripped to shreds by the internet after details from his new book about the cover-up regarding Biden's mental decline reveal that Joe Biden's condition was even worse than we thought. Now he's getting destroyed because he's trying to play this innocent role and throwing his hands up and absolving himself of any culpability in perpetuating the false narrative that Biden was mentally fit. Now my fiance says I need to get my hair braided because I look like a caveman, but coincidentally, what you're going to find out in this video is even if I was a caveman, I could have done the job of president much better than Joe Biden. He was literally so brain dead that a prehistoric Neanderthal could have done a better job at running the country. He was literally so bad he created a new "so easy a caveman could do it" Geico commercial. As always, like the video and subscribe to the channel, but I'm gonna start with what has to be the most crazy statement from this book about Joe Biden's actual condition.
So the White House physician, Dr. Kevin O'Connor, was telling White House aides that President Biden's deterioration of his spine, the degeneration, was so significant that if he fell one more time, that he might have to be in a wheelchair and serve in a wheelchair for his second term. But everybody pushed off the notion that he use a wheelchair until after the election. This is all part of a larger whole where the Biden White House tried to hide the extent of his deterioration, both physical and cognitive, as much as possible. In fact, as we all know, we all saw, as his shuffling gait got worse and worse from 2003 to 2004, they started putting aides around him as he walked to Marine One, the helicopter, that was to kind of hide from public view how bad his gait was, how bad his walking was, his shuffling, and also in case he stumbled again to make sure somebody was there. And this is just of a piece of an overall campaign to try to conceal from the American people the extent to which the president was really struggling to do his job.
The White House physician said that this man was so fragile that one more fall would have taken him out. And we all saw the way Joe Biden fell off bikes or tripped up the stairs to Air Force One or almost stumbled while just simply walking on the beach. Like, this man's cognitive functions were non-existent. He couldn't speak in complete sentences. He would forget where he was. I remember I was watching an interview he did in the Amazon rainforest, and when he concluded, he just turns around and walks into the abyss. Combine all that with the physique that is so fragile that if you fall one more time, you're gonna be committed to a wheelchair. And this was the person that the Democrats had no problem letting run the country and wanted to run it another 4 years. And the fact that they covered it up and lied to the American people for 4 years has to be the biggest scandal in my lifetime. Now, here's where people were really firing on Jake Tapper, when he tries to make it seem like he was just duped. He was just lied to by the administration. He and the Democrat establishment never took part in spreading any falsehoods. They were just simply believing what the people people in the White House told him.
I'm just curious as to whether or not this kind of trying to hide what was happening with the president at the time had an impact on the press corps. Like, why didn't we hear some of these details from what they actually saw and were dealing with trying to get information?
Well, Alex Thompson and I were on the case, as were lots of other reporters, trying to figure out what was going on behind the scenes. But the bottom line is the White House was lying, not only to the press, not only to the public, but they were lying to members of their own cabinet. They were lying to White House staffers. They were lying to Democratic members of Congress, to donors about how bad things had gotten. And in fact, Alex and I started writing this book after the election of 2024. And we spoke with more than 200 people, most of whom, almost all of whom, were Democrats, and almost all of whom wouldn't be honest with us or wouldn't be candid with us until after the election. And then after the election, we found out all of these things that when you looked at what was going on with President Biden at the time, it probably doesn't surprise you the extent to which he was deteriorating. But now we have anecdotes and facts about what was really going on behind the scenes with details that Democrats wouldn't share with us until after Election Day.
I mean, Jake Tapper is so insincere, and I'm going to show you a clip coming up of him obviously spreading the Biden lie, but he's insulting the intelligence of the American people. We could all clearly see Biden wasn't well when he ran in 2020 from his basement, but every single day thereafter of his administration, it became more and more painfully obvious. And the Democrats want us to think that, oh, maybe it was cause for concern when he lost the debate to Donald Trump. No, we were calling this out for the entire 4 years. It was just undeniably obvious then, so you had to admit it. You were the ones who called us the conspiracy theorists, ridiculed the idea that Joe Biden wasn't as sharp as a tack, the best that he's ever been. So active, everyone's struggling to keep up. What Jake Tapper doesn't understand is that to the American people, he comes off in two ways. One, you're just lying. And two, that's the truth, you got duped. Well, that just shows the American people how pitiful our supposed top-rated journalists are. You're supposed to be the best in the business at asking the questions, uncovering the truth, and you just accepted a bold-faced lie from the White House that literally any person with eyes could see was not true. Now here's Jake Tapper 2020 absolutely ridiculing Laura Trump because she suggested that Biden's not all the way there mentally.
Every time he comes on stage or they turn to him, I'm like, Joe, can you get it out? Let's get the words out, Joe. You kind of feel bad for him.
How do you think it makes little kids with stutters feel when they see you make a comment like that?
First and foremost, I had no idea that Joe Biden ever suffered from a stutter. I think what we see on stage with Joe Biden, Jake, is very clearly a cognitive decline.
Okay.
That's what I'm referring to. It makes me uncomfortable
You have
to
no
watch somebody on stage
that's so amazing. It's so amazing to me that
try and figure out an answer.
A cognitive decline.
Well, when you're trying to tell me that what I was suggesting was
I think that you were
stuttering,
mocking his stutter. Yeah, I think you were mocking his stutter, and I think you have absolutely no standing to diagnose somebody's cognitive decline. I would think that somebody in the Trump family would be more sensitive to people who do not have medical licenses diagnosing politicians from afar. Plenty of people have diagnosed your father from afar, and I'm sure it offends you. Your father-in-law from afar. I'm sure it offends you. You don't have any standing to say.
I'm not diagnosing him. What I'm saying, Jake,
you just talked
is
about
that
a cognitive decline.
See that Joe Biden
I have one last
struggling
question for you, Laura. You can't
times on stage, and it's very concerning to a lot of people that this could be the leader of the free world.
Okay.
That is all I'm saying. I genuinely feel
Laura
sorry
Trump.
for Joe Biden.
I appreciate it. I'm sure.
So that's just one clip out of many that are circulating X right now. But why I wanted to play this one in particular and why it's so funny is because obviously Jake Tapper released his book and Laura Trump had a response for him on Jesse Waters. Take a look.
Lara, do you think Jake Tapper owes you an apology?
Well, you can see for yourself in that clip, it wasn't just enough for him to deny the cognitive decline that was obvious to everybody with eyes and ears in the United States of America and quite frankly around the world, Jesse. He had to go a step further. He had to shame me and insinuate in an astonishing insinuation that I was mocking someone with a stutter. Nobody knew Joe Biden even had a stutter, I don't believe. But that got me a lot of hate from a lot of people. Captain Sully went on to write an op-ed to shame me even further after that interview. So I'm expecting a full-throated public apology at any point. I'm holding my breath from Jake Tapper and maybe from Captain Sully as well. But this is the reason that the legacy media has lost the trust of the American people. Only about 25% of the country believes these people anymore and thinks they can actually trust them.
And that's the thing about the mainstream media. They consistently lie, mislead, and get things wrong and never issue apologies.
They never come back and correct anything. Ladies and gentlemen, all they do is lie. And they keep lying. They come up with another lie tomorrow. A totally different. They lie. You know what? Guess what? Whenever they come up with some negative stuff about President Trump, all you got to do, MAGA, is just wait 2 days. Just wait 2 days, and then you'll see the truth. Because the news media, they always about 2 days ahead of the real news, what's really going on with President Trump and everything that he's doing. Now, you talking about being under a magnifying glass, right? President Trump. But Joe Biden falling off by, what? Joe Biden didn't do anything. Couldn't even spell cat. Come on, man. And then President Trump is under a microscope. Whatever he does, if he mess around and sneeze, they're going to be on his ass. Man, so he can't do anything wrong. So whenever they come up with some stuff, I don't even believe, I just wait 2 days, and then here come the truth right behind it. Just like they was talking about today, the airplane from Qatar. And President Trump signed one of the biggest contracts, the biggest contract that Boeing has ever had. The country of Qatar, and they live like kings and queens over there. And black people, while y'all tripping, I know that's not even the same video, while y'all tripping, we need to be trying to figure out how them people living. Because they got it good. Everybody over there straight. And they just signed they ordered 150 airplanes from Boeing. You know how much money that is and how many jobs? That is the biggest order, the biggest contract that Boeing has ever had. And how Boeing is old as concrete. But anyway, let's get back to Jake Tapper. We'll wrap this up.
Ever acknowledge it. And yet they wonder why the trust in the mainstream media is the lowest it's ever been. From the Russia, to the good people on both sides, to the Hunter Biden, to the vaccine, to inflation, to the border crisis, and to Biden's mental health.
All lies, everything he just named, just lies. And then the Democrats, y'all get on my nerve with that shit. And then you ask me why you support Trump. Why not? You can't explain why not, and all of the crazy stuff that y'all talking about is nothing but lies. Damn.
They just lie. It's despicable. It's hyper-partisan propaganda, but yet they just want people to move on with their lives, to just forget about it. They don't care that there is zero credibility with the media. There is zero credibility with the experts, and they're not intent on repairing that relationship. I mean, inflation numbers just came out today, and they were lower than expected. And that's for the month of April, which includes full tariffs. So what did the experts say? Oh, tariffs are going to cause mass inflation. Prices are going to go up. What was the reality of the situation? Inflation went down. There were no price increases. But the experts aren't going to issue an apology or a correction. To them, creating a false narrative that Donald Trump is evil is much more important than honesty and truth. Listen to Scott Jennings talk about this perfectly on the CNN panel.
If things go south at the debate, me, Barack, Nancy, and Hakeem have a plan B. Schumer would later deny it. It's a political problem that we have here.
Did he mean go south at the debate in that Joe Biden totally, had a malfunction the way we saw, or did he mean just go south at the debate like he doesn't perform well? The fact
it could have been both.
The fact that he was only concerned about the optics and not about the fact that the president of the United States might be in cognitive decline, might be mentally impaired, to me speaks volumes about the lack of character of Chuck Schumer. But the idea that we did not know about this for the years leading up to the presidential campaign. We all saw it with our own eyes. Video after video, speech after speech, statement after statement. The Hur report The fact that we have people saying today, oh, I didn't know, we had no idea, is outrageous. That's number one. Number two, the cover.
Lies, and more lies. That's all they do is lie. Mainstream media, CNN, that's all they do is lie. This is Scott Jennings, but he'll tell the truth though. This guy right here, I think is gonna make it.
Cover-up is outrageous. And number three, people were arguing with a straight face that this man could serve 4 more years until, of course, it became untenable at the debate.
Like they think this is a mundane revelation that people shouldn't be furious about. The commander-in-chief, the president of the United States, was not functioning for 4 years. Maybe that explains why things were so disastrous. But who was in charge of making these decisions? Who opened the border? Who caused the inflation? If it wasn't the president, and it clearly wasn't, we should be concerned that a bunch of unelected Obama bureaucrats,
transgenders and all kind of crazy people that's so. All those weirdos, LGBTQYXTZXUV to the purple.
The shots. They should have invoked the 25th Amendment, got Biden out of there. They could have appointed their first black woman president, checked off their DEI marks, and at least given the American people somebody who was not brain dead.
Yep, I thought they really were gonna do that. Matter of fact, I made videos on that and said Kamala is about to be the first black woman president, but she not black. But anyway, Jake Tapper, son, they on your butt. But you know what? When you don't do right, it's gonna come back and get you. But anyway, it's one of my favorite channels. This is Brendan Lehman, and he does a great job. Y'all need to go over there and check him out. And also need to check out the next video. I'm your host, Big Al, Uncle Coon. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace. Can't touch this.
Real deal. That gal on the mic, Uncle Coon in the house. Drop the knowledge, stay true, no room for doubt. From debates to celebs, we cover it all. Tune in, hit subscribe, you don't wanna miss the call. Real. Al, Uncle Coon, bringing the heat. Every episode's fire, can't be beat. Hit that like, share the vibe. Join the fam, come along for the ride. Politics, pop culture, and everything between. Big Al's got the scoop, you know what I mean. From Harris to Trump, we break it down. Common sense talk, the best show around. Real. Al, Uncle Coon, bringing the heat. Every episode's fire, can't be beat. Hit that like, share the vibe. Join the fam, come along for the ride. Cash App, show some love, support the grind. Big Al's on the rise, one of a kind. Uncle Coon Podcast, the place to be for real talk, real folks, and real TV. Real. Al, Uncle Coon, bringing the heat. Every episode's fire, can't be beat. Hit that like, share the vibe. Join the fam, come along for the ride.